So yes, there was poop behind the couch. Anyway, I'm Pat.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
We're
And
back.
yeah, there was poop behind the couch, and it wasn't human. It was cat.
It was cat. It was
Yeah.
cat poop. So,
And the lesson you learned from this?
when the other cat is having a bad diarrhea week, make sure you clean it out every day.
You have to
Yeah.
be extra diligent.
You have to be extra diligent.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Moral lesson of the week. So I suppose.
No, I get it. And I also, dogs are different. Dogs are. It all depends on what your relationship with the dog is. So if they have free reign to come and go, right, then it's something that if they're to do that inside the house and they have the ability to come and go, you're like, what the hell's going on with you, right? Because
Right. Yeah.
at that point, right, this is
No, she went down there.
okay, all right. I was just wondering where she went. Because that is a little bit sort of a weird thing where every now and then or maybe with this meathead, this has happened a couple of times where, in order to train this thing, you have to basically hang out with her outside, right, or wherever you want the pooping to happen, right, and you go out there with a pocket full of goodies, and when she does it, you gotta
Oh, okay.
you got to hook her up, and you do this enough times, and she'll be like, all right, I have the feeling associated. It feels good to do it out here. You never punish a dog for going to the bathroom, no matter how you slice it, because you don't want them to have negative feelings associated with
Yeah.
getting rid of it.
pooping, yeah.
And then if out of nowhere the dog just decides to just rip one in your house, you're like,
What's going on with you?
what happened
What
to
did you
you?
eat? Yeah.
It's not even a what did you eat? When did you lose the association of, hey, like, it feels good to do that out there. You have that feeling of like treats coming. And then you just have to do that a couple more times so they get it back in their head, at least with this one. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, cats are different, man.
Yeah.
So, my daughter was trying to treat train them when they were younger. It was hopeless.
I'm sure there's some, I've seen people do like fucking insane tricks with cats that
Yeah,
out of this world, but
I've seen like performers do things and stuff.
yeah.
But like of all the people that I've known over the years who've had cats, I've only ever known one person who's actually able to train his cat to use the toilet. So
I'm not even talking about the toilet. I'm talking about.
we're talking about the guys with the hoops and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You can get. Yeah, I mean, if you're a professional and you do that for a living, I'm sure. I bet you cats are probably bred for that in some cases, but just like, I mean, like I've had like 6 cats now. I've only ever had one who would come if you called her. So yeah, I've only ever the other ones will kind of look at you.
Here's the question: do they recognize their name?
Yeah,
Here's the
all of them
question.
have
Yeah?
recognized your name, with the exception I had one cat. She was kind of stupid, so I don't think she ever got her name. So, well, that was the big one. So Casey, she wasn't the brightest cat. So
She had an intelligence about her. There was.
she was a little bit more wild. So
There's something to be said about that, but there was I don't know. There was a, I don't want to say elegance. There was a certain like demure about that cat. Something I don't know how to quite put my thumb on, where it was though she saw things that were beneath her.
very much so.
You know what
She's
I'm
the only
saying?
purebred
Yeah,
cat I've
yeah.
ever owned too.
There you
So,
go. Yeah.
So all my other cats been mutts. So
Is that normal? Is that
I have no idea.
yeah?
I mean, it's just never occurred to me to get a purebred cat. So it just happened to wind up with one. So
Can you imagine like spending like fucking $4,000?
dude, there are
on a
people who
cat?
do that,
Yeah.
man, and there's kittens right down at the shelter right now who need to go.
I
You
know.
need good homes. So same thing with dogs, man. One of the guys at the yacht club, he's gonna slap down like $6,000 for some kind of like golden doodle thing, purebred, yada yada. It's like
It's not a dog I know.
it's basically half like poodle or in golden retriever. He was trying to explain it to me.
Oh, okay.
And I was razzing him a little bit. He was getting a little upset with me, man. He was just like, just go down to the pound and grab one. So so make some dog's life, dude. So
Well, I understand. So this is one of the things that I've been told from guys that train dogs and stuff like this. So I guess the breeding is very important when it comes to training, especially like from a young age. Now, I'm talking about the like these were all dudes who had secondary use dogs that
so
were
like hunting dogs.
not necessarily hunting, but herding too.
Okay, yeah, herding. Yeah.
So with these kind of things, I guess you do want it to be like purebred because you're getting it for the breed, and because they're going to behave in that certain way, and you're also ensuring that you get them at the right age where you can start.
Yeah.
So like, all right, I get that. It just strikes me as weird that. I mean, I guess it is what it is. The market will dictate this, but I mean, that just seems expensive.
That's
man.
a lot of.
It seems expensive.
It's a lot of money, man.
And
It's
I
a lot of
guess
money when you can go adopt one for $50 and maybe a spay. So,
yeah, and again, I don't want to moralize on it too much because there is something to be said about like, hey, if you have specific wants or desires for this dog, you want this and this exactly, like, all right, I wouldn't fault somebody for going down to the dealership and being like, look, I have $19,000. I don't want to just walk out with a car. I want this car.
Yeah.
Right? And I get it because, especially if you're somebody that, hey, let's say that you drive more than I do, right? Which is theoretically just about everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yes, the money that I want here, I want it to be very specific, and I want, this, and this. Well, all right, I'm not going to fight you on this. I also know that if I go onto the dealership, I'm basically going to walk in, like, to the first guy I see and say, like, excuse me, sir, I'm a rube from out of town with a wad of money burning a hole in my pocket.
I've seen you coming a mile away.
And, sir, I have this much money to spend, and how much car can I get for that?
Right.
Right. Now, obviously, I'm not that stupid, but I want them to walk me through and say, like, well, show me the best value I'm going to get for this, right? And I'm okay with that. Now, if you go down to the pounds, right, or you go down to the...
Yeah, but this isn't like the Brave Little Toaster, man. Those cars aren't singing their death songs,
No. If you come down to the rescue shelter with $4,000, like, do you want all of them?
Yeah, you want all of them? Yes.
You must have a pretty big house. I'm like, I could accommodate like 300 cats, yeah.
Right, yeah. Have a cat ranch.
Which would be kind of cool in some, regards. I feel like the business then would be like cat ranch. Like, come visit, stay,
come
visit the cats.
play with my kitties, yeah.
Come play with the kitties. I'm going to serve you, so coffee is going to be $6.
Yeah.
One croissant is going to be like $12.95. Is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get you on concessions, but you come in and you play with the cats.
Yeah. Parking's free.
Yeah. There's like 300 of them here.
There's like 300 spots. Yeah. So, and more than enough cats than you could ever handle.
And I guarantee you, at least one of them is going to be friendly enough to just walk up to you and say hi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of them you might have to chase down, but
So,
the other ones will walk right up to you.
So, collect them all.
What a business.
Yeah. Maybe dream business someday. I don't know, man. I couldn't do that. So, like, I had like a ranch out in the middle of nowhere, and I heard coyotes yipping one night. I'd be out there with my fucking machine guns. Yeah. So.
No, and I gotcha. And again, if I had lived in one of the guys that I was talking to, because these were the guys that would buy like huge tracts of land in Wyoming, and like, yeah, that's cool. And they have their dogs running like 10-mile perimeters around their houses and stuff like this at all times. So like, oh yeah, this is cool.
That's pretty cool.
This is cool. So yeah, you have specific needs, go for it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the rural lifestyle just doesn't really appeal to me. So
It does a little bit, but not much. There are a couple of things that I would look at and say, this is cool, right? This is cool, but
I don't.
how
Yeah,
cool is it?
I don't know, man. I just I like people, so I don't mind being around people. So, and that's your number one reason why you want to go out to a place like that. You don't like fucking people. So,
Or you like land.
or you like land, yeah.
Yeah, there is that too. Like if the things that typically people do on these places, whether it be some kind of like farming or ranching, or just like four wheeling or dirt biking or stuff like that.
Grouse hunting or whatever.
Yeah, these are all not things that I'm big on doing.
Right.
You know. But if I were, it's like, yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah, I suppose if I was a little bit more outdoorsy. So I've kind of grown out of that though. It's weird. I did so much of it when I was younger, man. I don't do shit anymore.
I feel like we've softened considerably.
When it comes to that stuff, yeah. So yeah, no. I mean, I don't.
Well,
my in-laws, they were all going camping, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
They got a motorhome and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And I was even like, yeah. I was like, give me a cabin. But better, yeah. Is there a Best Western near there?
It's
with country, with breakfast buffet.
Well, okay. Well, I'm not. So I'm happy to eat beefaroni from a can. That kind of thing. It's just I have come to expect walls between people.
Right, yeah.
I know this seems silly, but
the curtains are not they're not good wall substitutes.
They're not.
No.
I don't ever want to sleep in the same room as other adults. Like say for like I don't care. I'll manage. Like if we end up in another one of those like draft situations and it's like we're too drunk to go home and we end up like splitting a hotel room
that's
like we
fine.
did before. It's like, get that.
No, then fuck it. That's fine, dude.
Dude,
That's like
anyway.
a work trip.
Yeah.
So there's nothing.
But like with your in-laws and stuff, like I don't want to sleep in the same room as you guys. I don't want to. I don't want you to hear the gross things I do, and I don't want you guys to hear the gross things I do.
Yeah. I don't know. You get enough people, and they all do gross things. It kind of blends together. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. So I don't know. I do spend a week with my in-laws, but that's a house. So
Correct.
Yeah, it's got separate rooms in it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But then there's other places where, like I don't know, man. When I went to that thing, I stayed in a dorm for a few days. And
dorm?
Yeah. Now I had a room to myself, okay, but there were 4 beds in this room.
Oh.
Yeah, and normally it has like 4 fucking students in it. I was like, there's no fucking way I'd be able to do this again. There's no way, no.
Not at this age.
No, definitely not at this age. Yeah.
Now, speaking of roughing it, one of the Bear Grylls-esque heartbreakers was learning that all except for like the first guy that started doing it. You remember the guy? What was it, like Primitive Living or Primitive?
The Canadian dude who did it on his own.
Yeah, all but like that
Survivor
dude.
Man.
No. This was the guy. He had a YouTube channel where he'd go out there and build like a little house.
I thought you were talking about a TV show.
No. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this guy would just go out in the wilderness and like with his knife, and he'd make
he'd make a lean-to and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few guys who do that.
So basically, all of them except for the first guy are fake.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of them except for like the first guy are fake, and evidently you can see like the excavator tracks and shit in the shots. And, yeah.
There's another guy, that guy who does what is it, the primitive technology guy?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, he's great. Okay, but yeah, you see the other ones where guys are building houses and stuff. That's what you're talking about.
With like swimming pools and shit.
Those are all fake, and they're all done
fake.
in Indonesia and China.
Yep.
Yep. They're all fake. Yeah, I learned that a while ago. And it was. There was like an exposure video on it where this guy was showing. He's like, "Well, here's where they brought the excavator in." Yeah. So
another heartbreaker. The thing I was kind of like laughing at. I can't remember who said it, but they had this point where, like, I don't know how different the land is from like Texas. He said, you dig this far.
Oh, and it's full of work.
He's like, and you hit rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, and you hit rock.
Oh.
And then you excavate the rocks. And then you go this far, and there's more rocks. So he's like, so I don't know if it's just the geography of where they are, but I've never seen these guys remove a single rock, or like when they're digging, I've never seen them come up with
hit
a
a
single
rock.
Yes.
You know, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
exactly.
It's just all like nice and soft, like sandbox dirt.
That's correct. Yeah, because it's already been cleaned out by a fucking tool.
Okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, I know. It's again, it's like, oh, how did I miss this? You know, but
there's this other guy that I watch, and he makes fun of tool hacks. So where people like make like homemade tools that are supposed to get a job done better than like the real tool, the actual tool that you just go and buy.
Like what?
There's like all kinds of them. Or they'll take like a half a crescent wrench, and if it breaks, they'll weld a little bolt onto one side so you can turn it into an adjustable wrench. Kind of thing. And he's like, well, you can just flip the wrench around and use the socket on the other end. So, and he loves like these guys. They'll make like these, like these kind of like homemade power tools. Okay, he calls them all finger remover 3000s. So and it's hilarious because he'll find these TikTok videos and stuff like that. These guys demonstrating these tools, these homemade tool hacks that they've come up with, and he'll sit there and he'll like try and count how many fingers they have. So and invariably they're always missing like 2 or 3, man. So yeah, he likes to pick on Chinese tools too. So hand tools in particular, because they do these demonstration videos. They're supposed to like show them how tough they are and things like that, and then he'll sit there and he'll point out, it's like, yeah, so you can take this actual like nice DeWalt drill and then just put this casing on top of it, so it looks just like that one. This one operates underwater. This one will electrocute you. So yeah.
Oh, fuck that. No, it's
funny.
I remember, so are these the kind of demonstrations that are akin to what was it? It's the guys that make the like protective armor where they'll give this dude like a knife and say, "Come stab me."
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. He kind of pulls things that are, I think, a little bit more legit. It's like it's like actual product demos and stuff like that. Or in some cases, it's home mechanics who have found workarounds rather than going out and buying an expensive fucking tool. So which sometimes are legit, but he finds ones that are just stupid and will cost you your fingers. So he cherry picks what he puts up there, but there is some stuff up there like that. One that I got hooked on a little bit this week was there's like all these guys in England who get together and actually like have fights with metal weapons and actual armor. Yeah. And so they're all in full suit, and they've got rules to this, but you're allowed to hit a guy with an axe.
Right.
Okay, it's just not allowed to be sharp. But there was this one, I was watching this one, and there's like six guys in full plate armor trying to take down this absolute fucking giant of a man. And this guy is so fat. I mean, and you just start to realize that it's like, actually, he doesn't really need the armor. The armor's just there to tire you out. And he had this little tiny axe, okay?
Yeah.
And he just smack you right on the head with it. So, and the guys would like, wobble, and he'd just kick you down. So it's like a two-hit thing. It's not like those and all these guys are coming out with these big-ass swords.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like taking the hits, and then he can just get close to you and just whack you on the head with this fucking thing. So, and then kick you down. So, I wonder how much of medieval combat was actually like that. We have these ideas that they used to have these Highlander-esque sword fights.
All right. So my understanding, okay. So, and this is both of our faults, I think, because I think you and I have sort of kind of, we didn't talk each other out of going down medieval like rabbit holes,
Right.
right? So I've watched some of these too, and also been like playing some games and other stuff like this and things like that. And that's where they talk about how the preferred weapon when you're in armor is not a sword, it's a hammer,
Yeah, or a mace.
or a mace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you're talking about, because like they have these, I've seen the books where they like open up, it's like Saint Bartholomew's illustrations of ways to, you know, kill a armored man.
Okay.
Right. And you sit there and look through all the illustrations, because when they break it down, they're like, if you guys are both armored, right, the only way that you're going to hurt somebody with a sword, right, is basically to off kilter this person, right?
Right, get them on the ground. Yeah.
And then you're looking for gaps in the.
Yeah, you're gonna stick them.
Yeah, which, in comparison to the way they show it in movies, is lame as shit. Right now,
Right. Yeah.
don't get me wrong, it hurts and probably kill you. Just like, you know, we are talking about an age where, oh, I got a splinter, that's it for me, right?
That's curtains for me, kid. You're gonna be great.
Yeah. I got a 50-50. If I make it through the night, I'll live. But if it's still red by tomorrow,
I'm dead.
Which I thought it was so fun. So I got these are actually my lab results.
Oh, okay.
I was laughing the other day because my when you go through treatments, some of the things in your body become elevated, such as hemoglobin and hemocrits, which is evidently just the viscosity of your blood.
Yeah.
All right, so I find it odd. Well, actually, not odd. I was just kind of laughing. I was like, so you're telling me that my medical solution is bloodletting?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because
I asked my doctor if that was a cure for high blood pressure once. Yeah.
so yeah, I was. I thought that was funny. They don't have like leeches or some shit. But yeah. So when you watch these fights, unless they are doing a duel,
Right.
right, which would happen,
Yeah.
and they would do cool things. So this is. It wasn't that uncommon for actual guys to go out there and say, like, all right, well, instead of our armies going to war, these two guys will duel each other. And
they used to do that in Greece all the time.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
So yeah.
like that, I completely respect. But like that's not like how the Taliban fights. You know, it's not.
It's not how the Romans fought either.
No.
No. So we're like, no, we brought all of the guys.
Right.
And we're going to use them on you. So, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see, like, our guys just, like, call out, so send out your top ISIS, you know, knight.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Sir ISIS. Yeah.
And, yeah, we got one of our guys with a beret on, you know, and they're gonna...
Sitting on fucking Duke.
Choose your weapon. You got
Choose your weapon.
You got two guys with like fucking spears or whatever.
Right, yeah.
No.
Take the gummy bears. You know?
Or it's just a straight up. Showdown.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a quick draw.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we win that. So.
Well, it's in our culture.
It kind of is, but.
Yeah.
You know, like any FBI agent, like even your lowest of low-level FBI agents would outdraw anybody in the Old West nowadays and kill them dead.
Really?
Yeah.
Or just because they're bad shots?
Yeah, well, it's just because, like, the way the weapons and the way they make holsters these days and stuff like that.
Oh, okay,
You know?
okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about all right.
They kill them dead.
Well, I mean, if you say like the same weapon.
Yeah. I actually saw something on YouTube the other day. It was an old-fashioned duel that had been restored and colorized. So
What?
from like 1892 or
Really?
something. Yeah, it was like the only one that was captured on film. and this guy just blows this dude's like half his face off.
Holy Christ!
I know, but it's like old timey ragtime in the back, So I think that one snuck past the algorithm.
You're fucking like half your face blown off to like the Fargo's.
I don't think that was actually on camera. I think whoever uploaded that added that, so that it got past the censors for a few days. I don't know, man.
Trying to die with like fucking ragtime music in the background. Oh my god.
But yeah, these two guys shoot at each other. It's like 1, 2, 3, draw, and you get one shot. So, and the one guy shoots at the one guy and misses, and the other guy didn't pull the trigger, and then he just pops him right in the face. So
can't you dodge?
I don't know.
You only get one shot?
In traditional duels, yeah. So you only get one shot. And in the old-timey, it wasn't you shoot at the same time. It was that one guy, you would draw lots to see who got to shoot first. So, and the other guy had to stand there. And that was the whole thing. You couldn't chicken out. So, that's what happened to Alexander Hamilton. So, because he showed up at the island, and they were like, hey, are we doing this? And Aaron Burr's like, yep. So, and he drew lots, and was like, okay, I lose, and so typically if you didn't get the first shot, you bow to the other guy and say, okay,
you win.
You win this,
right.
But he still gets the right to shoot at you, and he shot the fucking vice president, so blasted him. So
I see. Actually, that sort of makes sense. I mean,
kind of.
I prefer it where you can continue shooting until you hit the opponent.
Right.
Wow. Okay, that would piss me off. That would really piss me off if I missed. Maybe I just got to stand there and get shot. No, fuck that. That's ridiculous.
That was kind of the point, though, man.
Yeah.
So it was serious fucking business, I guess. So
well, these are the rules. If you agree to
rules,
them. Yeah.
If you agree to them. So otherwise, you're a coward. So
oh well.
Right, I'm alive. Yeah.
No, the thing is, eventually you much like in Godzilla -1, you will have a redemptive arc someday.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I should watch that.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
It's on Prime. Okay.
Rent it for $5.
Alright.
Yeah.
I've been watching too much lately, so.
No, I haven't either. I haven't really got time.
No, you've been busy?
Yeah.
I've been too busy. I've just been watching garbage.
Well, I mean, there's always garbage on when I'm, doing stuff, especially, I mean, it's just garbage. I don't have to, it's, the one thing that's getting to me is, this is the thing that I wish I could tell YouTube in no uncertain terms, right? I wish I could tell YouTube, I wish I could type to it, this is like, so there was this,
oh, that's probably not too far off.
This is what I'm saying, is there was this moment, if I can take you back in adventure gaming history, right? So before the real interfaces came into play that jumped out there, like in like Police Quest in those old games, you used to have to tell the guy what to do.
Yeah.
Right? And
the very first version of Leisure Suit Larry was like that.
Exactly,
and,
yes.
Yeah, and it would accuse you of being, like this twisted sex pervert from time to time.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is funny, but eventually they got down to like verb wheels and the
parrot.
The parrot, and what was it? How many commands was it in like the Lucas games? Was it 9?
Oh, yeah, it felt like the first couple ones, like Maniac Mansion and stuff, it was like 10 or 15.
That one was stupid. I have no love for that game.
Oh, I didn't mind that one.
You wouldn't play it now.
No, I tried it not too long ago.
It's
just not that. Well, the same thing like some of the other ones, like
Day of the Tentacle is 10 times more playable.
Day of the Tentacle is way better. And then what's the other big one?
Sam and Max?
Oh, Sam and Max, yeah. I'd play that one again.
Yeah.
I played Full Throttle again, too. So that game was hella fun. But it was short, man. It's like 3-hour game. So
Well, I will say this. So if you think about it, you could probably, if you remember right now, if I said, Patrick, the clock is ticking, and I don't know, the gas is flowing in your house, and the match will, start. The timer will, burn or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The match will light in 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I say, like, and you have to solve Fate of Atlantis, right?
Oh, in 6 hours, I don't think I could do it.
But here's the thing: is if you remember most of the puzzles, right? You can knock out most of those games really fast.
Yeah, but then you're gonna spend a shitload of time on one thing you just can't remember how to fucking do.
Oh yeah, you're gonna sit there like fucking around with the stones, and you're like, my house is gonna blow up.
It's gonna blow up. Yep. So we're just gonna brute force this now. Not realize that you needed the hint. So you need to dig up that little piece of paper.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Or you're just like, something stupid. But you remember that the plunger is the thing you use as the handle to move the sub up and down, man. It's just like,
and the scepter.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I played that one quite a bit. I mean, like, so Curse of Monkey Island, I could knock that out in a couple hours. There's probably not a single puzzle in that one that I forget. So
I don't think you would. I think you might look around for like something stupid, or you might do something that is not necessary to complete the game.
that's possible.
You might sit there and just keep like giving gum to Murray, even though he doesn't.
I might sink all the ships.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You might waste a little extra time fucking around, but like I think you'd remember.
I remember just about it. I can remember just about every puzzle just thinking about it right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So Last Crusade though was hard. That game had a lot more puzzles in it.
It did. And minor puzzles at that.
Yeah, a lot of them were pretty dumb.
They were components of a larger puzzle.
Yep.
It's like you have to walk around and you have to. Actually, could you, like when you were in the stupid caves? Did you have to use the detector, or if you knew where the shit was, could you just go in there?
The detector, the amber thing?
Yeah. Did you have to use it to find shit, or did you, if you knew where it was? Like,
I think you did, because there was a tunnel that you couldn't go down unless you'd used it.
this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're brute forcing some of these, or not brute forcing, but you're like, I remember. I think there might have been some things that were like a little bit random, depending on whether you.
I don't know.
I know the opening of the game is.
Well, yeah, but it's like in one of 6 different spots.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and so the question is, do you use the mayonnaise or go down the coal chute? See, I remember that. Oh, man, I remember too much of that now.
That's what I'm saying. I think you could do it in 6 hours.
Probably.
I think your house is going to survive.
Yeah,
but,
I think so, too. Now that I think about it. There's a new one of those coming out. So
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous about it.
I am very nervous about it, man. Like, I don't know. I've been trying to get back into Skylines. So now that they had a big patch out there.
Yeah?
Yeah. So it's slowly getting sucked into me. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So,
Look, I played it relentlessly when it first came out.
Yeah,
so,
well, it doesn't. The economy doesn't seem quite as busted ass. You can actually keep people in single residence homes without everybody being like, the rent's too damn high. You
shouldn't be renting. This is going to be your place to live in 30 years.
I don't think that's actually modeled in the game. Remember, this is communist land, where I can bulldoze your house, and I mean, the city can own the means of production.
That's terrifying.
I know, it's pretty bad, but
you see, you don't own this land. You're just borrowing it for us for a fair price.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to get into it. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll give it a stab.
No, that's cool. But yeah, when it comes to like medieval fighting, which is where we were going with this, yeah. It's just so lame. It's so like
it seems like it.
As are most things in history. Don't get me wrong. There's a romanticized version of everything. my understanding of almost all samurai fighting was that it was done with arrows.
Oh yeah, they outlawed guns because they were so effective. So yeah.
Because correct, what you don't want to do. There's a how what is it? There's a funny little comic out there that talks about the creation of the bow and arrow, and the thought that the guy has. He says like, well, I want to stab somebody, but he's way over there. And so when it comes down to common sense, it's like, yeah, if I hit him at a distance, he has way less of a chance of cutting me up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing is they did most of their fighting with bows and arrows.
Yeah.
And you know, the electric sword fights that they would have, because I guess that's the other thing is those swords aren't meant to clash into each other.
No, you'll break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can, but that's like a rapier is really good for that. You know, like the Zorro stuff. That's legit.
That's legit.
I mean, fencing's definitely legit. And some of the like the two-handed sword, the Braveheart thing, that's legit too. You can chop people's fucking hands off if you're doing things that way.
But that's the thing is you'd want that guy as part of your army. You would build that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just send him out there and say like, take on any other guy with any other weapon.
No.
You'd have him out there fulfilling a specific task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why most of the guys that you have are just dudes with, you know, long sticks with pointy tips. So
incredibly effective.
Yes. So like up to
I
the
want to
point in
stab
time where
that
they were using them till like World War One. You know? Yeah. So
oh, this guy's ass is grand.
This is
But,
you get a 357M. You know?
Bet your ass I am. Not on the air though. I don't want to go to jail.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So no, but then like some of the other stuff.
I'll waterboard him first. No, it's
You can get all the information out of that one. You can. Yeah. Where are all your friends? You know. Where'd you put the bomb? Don't we bring your family in here?
Yeah, the romanticism of it. Yeah. Okay. Yes, and fencing is, to me, I've always found that like kind of sweet. Actually, that's where like I'd always hoped that as time went by, they would incorporate more of that into Star Wars than treating it like broomsticks.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, because we were talking about, who was it, Christopher Lee the other day?
Yes.
Yeah. So you actually watch those sword fights. They're fun to watch, man.
They're awesome.
Yeah, because
Super
they're real. So the guy was actually trained in fencing, you know, and then you turn around and you look at, you know, like what passes for sword fights in like Game of Thrones. It's like, okay, this is fun to watch, but yeah, I realize it's all fake. So yeah. You know,
Yeah.
So, and this is probably not how this shit actually went, you know, but that's okay. I saw this scary thing today.
What?
So, it was like a review of some of the drones they've been using in the Ukraine. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. You know what, Jeff? I think guns are going to actually be like antiques. Maybe in another 100 years. I'm not going to use guns anymore. Because the drone's basically a flying bullet.
Are you saying that they'll become small enough to take the role of a bullet, essentially?
Pretty much. Well, it doesn't need to be a bullet. It can be the size of a hand grenade. But they have this one, and it's quite expensive still. But you can tell it's just a matter of time before they can make them for like a couple $100. Thing's basically silent. Yeah, you can't hear it. It's 2 feet away from you. You can't hear it. So you just roll up on a dude with a 40mm grenade on that thing and push the button. So it's like, and you see some of these videos that I've seen on the Telegram. So that there's just guys trying to shoot back at them, and they just it's impossible. Right. Yeah. So I mean, you see a couple of them get lucky every now and then. Those are usually much bigger drones. So you know, like 81s and stuff like that. Yeah. So, because they get this video of a helicopter chasing a drone that's going after a bridge, and they actually managed to shoot it down. So, you know, and they're all like, you can tell that they're all like fucking, you know, like, wow, I can't believe we got it, kind of thing.
But that's the problem is the question is how much more time and resources did you spend shooting down a goddamn
shitload
drone?
more. A
Yeah,
lot more.
yeah.
No, that's the whole point, man. This is kind of scary.
Now that being
This
said,
drone I'm
yeah.
telling you about, it's only about 8 inches long. So, and it looks like a little Blackhawk. So yeah, it doesn't even have like the 5-6 rotors and little arms on it and stuff. It just looks like a little mini helicopter. So it's insane. So
Well, I mean, that's the thing is we're seeing this from a strictly like offensive point of view. I'm sure that they'll have defensive options for this year too. Things that can basically, you know, like you said, it's hard to detect like a human face like behind a cardboard box.
yeah.
But you can make things identify, you know, shit like that.
Oh yeah, no, these aren't AI. These are actually flown by dudes.
But that's what I'm saying is that's the kind of thing that sets up like a defense against it. Is it
Well,
sees it shoots on sight. It, you know.
they've talked about some of the defense mechanisms. The best thing you can do is actually jam the Wi-Fi. So
Exactly.
yeah. So you can do that, but there are others that are. So they'll actually operate on a radio frequency, just like an RC, just like a remote control plane. And so then you have to find the frequency that it's on. So it's this whole cat and mouse thing with jamming radar again. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Which is all warfare really is.
It really is.
It's just honestly, it's accelerating and trying to get that at the point where, if you think about it, the whole purpose of this is to risk as few human lives as possible.
Well, that and they're out of people. So,
Yes.
you know, that's the big problem too is see that the Russians are bringing over a shitload of people from North Korea.
Yeah, and evidently it is. They are known to be cannon fodder. This is.
Oh yeah, you go out and dig the trenches, you know, the things that the Ukrainians drop, you know, hand grenades in from drones.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then, you know, there's this one like activist, and she's, you know, been around for a few years, and she escaped from North Korea and stuff. I saw her on an interview the other day, and she's like, absolutely, you know, you have to understand that the Kim regime knows exactly where all these guys' families are, so they are all being very closely monitored. If any of these guys go missing and they don't have a body with it, that's a family that's going to be in prison for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So if not just outright killed. So this is explained to all the people who are being volunteered to go do this. Yeah. So it's bananas, man. So yeah, I watched a lot of war porn the last couple days. I don't know why.
I don't see why
To
not.
get my mind off a Thursday night.
Well, okay, so I was going to touch on that in a second because this is actually something that I was having trouble with YouTube, where it was like this is where the whole interface came in with was I want YouTube to just recommend me the videos of, you know, who's speaking or what the event is instead of the person's commentary over it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something that I wish I could tell YouTube, just like, don't give me the guy. Like, just
I just want to watch a thing.
if you want to make the recommendation, recommend the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it would be interesting if you could actually use AI to query YouTube. That's probably coming.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Huh?
I wouldn't doubt
Yeah.
it.
I mean, even if YouTube doesn't want you to do that, there's got to be a plug-in program that's like got to be just around the corner where you could do that. So,
Again, it is part of Google, right?
right.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see integration like this, but actually there would be a problem with it because I think I watched something actually it was earlier today about the profitability of basically the social media platforms and videos, right?
It's terrible.
So, which one is the worst?
I don't know. It might. I don't think it's YouTube. I know TikTok is the best. So
It's the worst.
for what, monetization?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they had. Well, okay, no, I'm wrong about that. They have the best rate. So really, they have a 60-40 split. I thought.
No. What
did they change it?
So
We were just talking about this the other day.
we were talking about this, but evidently that is way off.
Oh, okay.
So the way it breaks down is it's not. The problem is that it's not commensurate. So even at like a 60-40 split, right? What you're getting paid on the videos is so little,
Oh, right.
right?
Yeah.
So the percentage may be great, but basically the person in the world who has the most followers and the most views on the planet Okay, and his views are basically 3 times the population of the Earth.
Who is it?
Some dude I'd never heard.
Okay.
That's my answer to that. It's some dude that I've never heard of. That came out to about $500,000 of income
Over how much time?
the year,
Oh, okay.
right? Whereas the way that they strung it out was like if they
And that's on TikTok.
yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right? So TikTok is dog shit when it comes to actually monetization, right?
Okay.
The only other way that people make money on there is through like endorsements and stuff, but even then that's sort of
Well, you got the super thanks thing on there too.
yeah. It's
I don't know how much they take of that.
what they're doing is it turns out that those guys are using TikTok as a platform to move to YouTube.
Right.
Because evidently that same guy would be making approximately 100 times that.
Oh, okay. On YouTube?
Yes.
I don't know, man. So I've seen a lot of stuff on YouTube lately where YouTube is basically going out of its way to demonetize people. So
Well, there is that too, and again, they're sort of hitting a weird point where they're trying to monetize people that will make them money,
correct.
and basically tell everybody else like you're wasting our bandwidth because
Yeah.
because all of these things they're losing money. Zuckerberg went out there and said like these are our losses on advertising. We're actually getting rid of this shit because it's not.
They're not making money off advertising anymore. Yeah. I'm
No,
not surprised.
it's that same kind of thing, and that was the other problem they had with TikTok was, look, there's two things: is we have a problem advertising on here. People don't want to advertise on here, and on top of that, people don't want to advertise in a vertical format, which is an interesting enough point. It's like, all right, that's good,
Yeah.
and they also said like there's a reason that the duration of this has gone from like seconds to minutes to 10 minutes now is their max video, right? In order to get things to work, they actually are going to long form, which is the antithesis of
TikTok.
and
Where'd you hear this?
I was watching a video on it.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
Is it recent? Is the video recent though?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was something that ended up being it had some guy, commentating over it, but
Some guy.
but still the video was valid. And the other thing is that TikTok is basically degenerate. It's it is all chicks, it is all, this, and evidently advertisers don't want to advertise with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course. Little dweeb.
You got a dog on the cord?
I do have a dog on the cord. All right. But anyway,
Okay.
so that's where it's like circling back that people are they've had it with Twitch.
Twitch is dumb. I actually got on it the other day just to see. It is the exact same place it used to be. It's just smaller.
It's smaller,
Yeah.
and look, people, they're right. They are. Twitch rules change hourly, basically, and they will bend to. There are people who have a rap sheet a mile long that would have been permabanned under any other circumstances, but
But they have the right political views, so yes.
or they just they're popular,
Okay, yeah, I've seen
Right.
that too.
or they're popular. They're a draw. That's all it boils
I
down
don't think
to.
Twitch is too long for the world, man. So
Yeah,
I'm getting I was smoking around
no,
on it the
no,
other
no,
day.
no, come here,
Nope.
come here.
Oh, we are.
No, the evidently of all things, like Twitch is starting to get its breakfast, eaten by Kick, and Kick sucks.
I don't even know what Kick is.
Kick is a platform where basically anything goes. So all of the shit where if you see people that are streaming, right, that are you're like, how are you doing this? The stuff that would clearly break the TOS on other places, like pranks that
I haven't seen any of that.
this is all done on Kick because their perspective on this is like anything goes, right?
Yeah, that's not gonna last either, though, man.
Well, at least it's honest.
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough.
But-
I mean, so is fucking Rumble, but nobody's over there.
Well,
so
yeah, I'm gonna. So,
yeah.
what is that?
I know, man. Yeah. So
I remember that.
sorry, Glenn Greenwald reminds me of it every time I see him on YouTube. Watch the rest of this on Rumble. It's like,
yeah.
nah, I'm not going over there, and I'm not putting your app on my phone
No.
either. So
I wouldn't dare. But yeah, so they were just running down the revenue models on this, and yeah, you're right. It sucks for anybody that's not someone in the super duper class right now.
right.
Yeah. So there
Well,
was
and it's
that.
getting worse, man. And so there's like conspiracy theories going on YouTube right now that it's not about politics and stuff like that. It's about revenue generation.
Yeah.
So, it's like we're basically, if they tighten up the TOS enough to the point in time where, you basically have to produce kids' videos in order to actually get monetized on anything, that's what you'll get. So,
And that's what you'll
eventually-
turn it into.
Yeah, that's what you'll turn
Yeah.
it into.
Yeah.
And that might be the idea. So, no idea. So,
But that's not what they want.
I don't know what they want.
Well,
So-
you know that's not what they want because you know what bracket they want.
I don't know what bracket they want.
They want basically 25.
I
Okay.
think they want younger than that. So
No way.
I don't know, man. I think they're kind of going with the Disney
The
strategy.
whole man, the whole this is the reason why they measure ratings in the demo.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't know if that actually still holds up anymore. So, in terms of being the most desirable demographic out there to have.
Ben?
I know it has been in the past. I don't know if that's true anymore. So, I don't know. It's been a while since I've done any poking around marketing. So, I might have to go do some reading on that.
Hasn't changed. It's the
You don't think so?
The no, that's they like more so than ever. Now, will I say that it may be antiquated? I wouldn't doubt it. There are certain things that
I guess that would be my point then. Yeah.
but even more so, they rely on it more and more because data is becoming harder and harder to get, especially with things like viewership, right? Here.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
We got to take a break.
No, it's okay. You don't have to worry about
I just want to make sure it's not around her leg.
I think that's exactly what's going on here. All
I
right,
think you're correct.
all right, dog. So stand up. Of course, you have to make this as difficult as possible. So, all right, dog, come this way, please. Thank you so much.
Oh, yep. She was
There we
right.
are.
All right.
Thank
There
you,
we
good
go.
dog. Good work, beautiful. All right, now you are free to go wherever you choose, dog. Thank you. All right, so as data is becoming harder and harder to come by, they are actually using that more and more.
What kind of data is becoming more difficult to
Viewership.
capture? Oh, viewership data?
Yeah.
Just because people password sharing and shit like that?
No, well, because they have, I think, 3 reporting agencies for streaming shit, right? And it's all compiled in ways that seem kind of bogus.
I don't know that much about this, so.
Well, all right, so I would ask you this. So previously, if you go back to this, because I know your parents were, part of this,
My in-laws were.
I thought your parents were Nielsen
No, it was my
members.
in-laws.
They
Yeah.
were?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
my in-laws.
All right, so statistically speaking, the way that they chose people to be part of this program, do you think that Nielsen ratings were an accurate representation of what people were and weren't watching?
Yeah, but you had fewer options of what you were watching at the time.
Absolutely,
So,
right.
you get a different level of fidelity on that than you do if there's fucking 10 different streaming services and 1,000 different
Absolutely.
shows. Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, I would say, well, and I mean, it was a program, so you could opt into the program. So, and sometimes if they didn't have enough people in an area, then they would actually recruit.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure my father-in-law opted into it. So yeah, because you got a couple bucks off your cable bill.
Yes.
So if you did that, or but you still had to fill it out and mail it off every single time.
Yep.
Yeah, and then but then in other markets where you have more than enough people who want to do it, all right, that's not a problem. But then you'd have rural markets. That's where they would actually go out and recruit people. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have a couple of problems with that, but overall, I would say, back then, I would say that the Nielsen ratings were a fairly better marker of accuracy back then.
Oh, yeah,
Just because of the sample size and the reduction of content. right?
Right, yeah.
All right. Now flip this around the other way, where the streaming services, look, they could solve this in 2 seconds, right? If they basically went out there and said, like, hey, you're a firm for this, okay? You have unfettered access to our viewership information.
Yeah.
They'll never do that.
Yeah, there's good reasons for that, though. So...
There is and there isn't.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at it from the cold business reasons.
From their standpoint, yeah. Because you get to basically hype up your failures, and you get to basically yeah. So there's a reason behind that. But what they've done is there are some places that have ways around this. You're like, okay, well, then what we're going to do is we're going to essentially make our own Nielsen setup by
you could totally do that,
right? But that also means it's not completely accurate. But you know,
it'd be within 3 standard deviations. It'd be as accurate as you could possibly want it to be.
This is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, so if I were to design it from the ground up nowadays, I would just do a consumer survey on the back end and find out who's been watching what. So you just ask them. So, and if you ask enough, and if you have a well-picked sample, fine, I can tell you exactly what your viewership was. So I only need like 30,000 people in this thing too.
This is all right. So this is part of the YouTube issue too, where it's part of their metric here isn't necessarily that you watched it, right?
Yeah.
They measure a lot of this by minutes watched.
Yeah, they do.
Same thing like they do on YouTube, right?
Yeah. So, well, and that kind of makes sense, because there is a problem with it. It's not like you're in the movie theater where 99% of the people who go to it are going to watch it all the way through. Yep. Or like with the TGIF lineup. So if you hate this fucking show, you're still going to stay on because Cheers is on next.
Right.
So, right? Okay.
Right.
And so you got captive audience, especially when there's only 5 network channels or 3 network channels and then PBS and, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
So
back when
Telemundo.
Back when like lead-ins mattered and that kind of stuff. So
but that's not the kind of TV we make anymore, man. So like the streaming services, they know exactly how many people watch their shit. And they know exactly how long they watch it for. They can tell right off the bat which shows are actually performing and not. And this is why you get those weird rando cancellations from time to time. It's like, oh, the show's doing great, blah blah blah, and also it's done. I guarantee you that's because someone was like, hey, these numbers fucking suck. So just pull a pin on it. So
well, what they'll do is one of the things that they're big on doing is they'll make a statement that has about 4 sentences of stipulation.
Right.
It's the number one this year, this genre, this style, most watched or whatever.
Right. Yeah. With this actor in it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
The best John Krasinski show on TV right now.
It's the highest debut this year. And then you flip around and say, well, what else came out this year?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. There's not really a scorecard. You guys don't mail me a TV guide anymore, so.
And they'll be like, well, it was the highest debut on our platform. Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
So
what difference does that make?
I'm not subscribed to Paramount. Fuck off. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's sort of one of the difficulties of it. But
that's why you just survey consumers and not even involve the streaming service in the survey. Just go directly to the audience, say, hey, what are you guys watching? So you'll get pretty accurate numbers. So
it's a weird game, man. Again, it's
but there's a lot of data that we use out there that is way more accurate than getting it from a source. So like crime data. So like crime data, they don't do it. Well, I mean, some agencies do it by like asking police departments, hey, how many crimes did you have? And stuff. But the real people who do it are dudes who go around, and part of the consumer population survey, they have a crime supplemental on that. When they ask people whether or not they've been victimized by crime within a given year.
Oh.
And so that way they don't even fuck with the FBI and the ATF and their weird statistics and stuff like that. So you can just get it directly from the source, because you know what? If someone stole your bike and someone asked you, hey, did you have anything stolen this year? You're going to be like, yeah, my fucking bike. So, did the cops do anything about it? No.
Yeah, but
so they're not going to lie to you.
At the same time, take a crime that's relatively rare, like murder, right?
Murder's an exception. So
you're going to have a hard time like finding a random sample set where that
Yeah, it's like, well, what crime happened to you this year? I got murdered.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like, did anybody that you know?
Well, they probably do it that way, but murder statistics are much more solid than other ones. So because someone disappears off the face of the planet, something there's a trail there, you know. Yeah, whereas like, okay, so Bob's cell phone doesn't pick up. Bob's social security card hasn't been used in a long time, so you know his credit card hasn't been used in a little while. So there's no evidence that he paid his taxes this year. Something's up. So you know.
Yeah, Sling TV keeps mailing them those things. It's like we haven't heard from you in a while. Are you still okay?
Is it okay?
You want to come back for $6.99 instead of $11.99 for 3 months? Yeah, okay, but not to sidestep it because it must be addressed here. So how much of Thursday's debacle could you put up with before you turned away from it in like embarrassment?
I watched the entire thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I got all the way to the golf conversation. Man.
Dude, it was hurting me to watch.
It was
man.
quite
It was
painful.
like this is.
It was quite painful.
So, what are your observations, Patrick? What would you like to
CNN
say
did
about
not pull any punches. I was kind of impressed.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of smelled blood and they went after it.
Yeah.
So I did not expect Dana Bash to do that, since she's like the most apologetic Democrat.
She's a honk. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she was actually kind of brutal. So, yeah, so there's this guy that I watch, and he called it last week. He said that everything that Joe Biden had asked for was going to blow up in his face.
Right.
That was 100% true. So,
I have heard that the gambit was that making those requests would make Donald Trump refuse, and then they could call him out for his cowardice.
okay, well, before I saw last week's debate, I would say that Melty Joe was possibly capable of coming up with that. But now, no way. There is no fucking way, man. He is not playing four-dimensional chess here, man. So he no, not even a little bit, man. It's so patently obvious now. And I mean, I've been wrong about this because I thought, well, maybe he's okay behind closed doors. Nope. No.
It's 4-dimensional chess, then it's chess, then it's checkers, and we are back at shoots and ladders. That's. I'm sorry, dude. That's
Go fish.
fuck that. The seconds of mouth agapeness, like staring into
The
fucking
side by side
nowhere.
was the worst thing of the entire night.
Holy Christ!
I can't
man.
believe they did that. So I can't believe they agreed to that, not realizing. Well, I mean, I don't know. So I don't think there's any conspiracies here, man. I just think that a whole bunch of people saw something last week that made them decide, well, if I can't vote for Donald Trump, then it looks like I'm not voting this year. So because I can't vote for that guy either.
Well, there was a really salient point that was made, and I completely agree with this. Mm-hmm. And this is where even Democrats should be upset at their media, right?
Oh yeah.
They said it, and they're absolutely right. They said for months,
Yep.
the media has been reporting he's sharp as a tack.
Yep.
No, it's the other guy that's off his rocker. No, it's just like this guy. I talked to him. He's right there, right? And so when people actually saw it in live space, and
you can fool all the people some of the time, Jeff. So it's the cat's out of the bag now, brother.
And that's the thing is like now they're in a panic, literally in a panic, right? Because they're like, but I heard,
but we done fucked up, yeah,
right. And this is the kind of thing that should make you say, wow. You guys really shouldn't be doing this. You guys, as a journalistic entity, right, are fuckers. And I hope that you all burn to the ground.
Well, unless they change their minds. I mean, we'll find out in the next couple of weeks. So
Roger that. But, I mean...
We'll find out. I mean, the problem with the press is fundamentally there's nobody who can hold the press accountable except for us. The only way we do that is by turning it off. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they can print whatever the fuck they want. So that's First Amendment. So got it.
Absolutely.
And if they do a bad job of it, it's incumbent upon us to stop paying attention to them. So
well,
that's the only mechanism. That's the only accountability mechanism in that entire thing. That's it. That and like defamation law. So
there is that.
Yeah.
And again, this is it would be. Look, I'm not buying the media. right? I'm
No,
not
I'm not
buying
buying
this shit.
it.
It's on the people that are buying this shit to say like, you guys failed.
The Wall Street Journal was one of the few that came up like almost immediate. It was like, what the fuck was that?
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like, maybe I'll pick that back up, but it's expensive.
The Journal, like the ops from the Times were hilarious. Like within
Dude, I saw
6
collages
hours.
of those. Yeah, within the next day, they had people putting up collages of those of all the surrogates, saying it's time for him to bow out, and Joe Biden is my friend, but I don't think he should run for president anymore. It's like, thanks, Tom Friedman. Why don't you tell him that fucking last year? So
Yeah, I know.
So he could have actually had a Democratic primary, because now you guys are fucking stuck with either Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. It is too fucking late. This plane's going down, buddy. The question is, how does it land?
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is you guys as journalists, again, this is where it comes into like what actually is your job, right? You guys as journalistic pussies, one of you was supposed to break ranks and say, hey, I spent an afternoon with this guy. Let me tell you what happened.
Well, some of them had done that, but then they got completely shunned out by like everybody else in there. So, that's why you have to retreat over to Substack and scrape out a living amongst people who want to listen to what you have to say. You're not doing any really news reporting over there. So it's just like, hey, what's your take on this? So
Right.
we're still incumbent upon like major news outlets or your local news to actually report the local fucking news. The local news was brutal to Joe Biden that night. Absolutely fucking brutal. So, yeah.
As they should have been.
Well, this is the local news, man. This is why they're good. So, when they only have 10 people in the audience, man, you better tell it to them straight, because one of them, you're going to catch a bottle.
I got it. And yes, you do have less to worry about when you're doing that. But yeah, it was. I bounced back. I would like jump in and jump out because it would. It was just hurting my feelings. It was this. It was like you and I have seen it. You've seen people get old, and
like I was going through it right now.
Yeah, just seeing
my
people
mom's
in
not
stages.
present.
Well, no,
Yeah,
right. And the thing that really got to me was like, again, don't come to me the next day and say, well, he had a cold. Don't come to me.
Dude, they did that during the debate. That came out while the debate was still going on. I know.
Don't come to me the day after that and say, well, actually, he's really cognizant between the hours of 10 and 4.
Yeah.
But if you get him outside that, it's really kind of like, well, fucking the world doesn't, like, world leadership doesn't run on bankers' hours, right?
Right, yeah.
It's like...
ISIS doesn't have operating hours.
You're correct. No, and that's the thing. They don't take off like weekends and holidays. I mean, this is the
well, some holidays, but not ours.
Not good ones. Yeah, not. There's more shrieking in there. That's what kills me on this is like, are any of you guys going to come up there and say like, all right, we have to come to grips with this? It's like, no, this is pathetic. And the copium from the Twitter was a hilarious place to be the next.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I was tempted to reinstall the app, but I declined. I knew what was going on over on Twitter. I could hear it, even though it wasn't on my phone.
My most delightful, like the tastiest copium that I saw was people who their answer was, I don't vote for a man, I vote for
democracy,
a cabinet. I vote for a regime. And you could go back in their tweets and see like 6 hours where before it was Biden's gonna mop the floor with this dweeb, right? And then 6 hours later, it's, I don't vote for a man, I vote for a regime.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. The Wayback Machine says otherwise.
Well, I don't vote for a regime because that's not what's on the ballot.
No, me neither. Yeah, you either gotta vote for the man or you're not. So because that's the point behind representative democracy.
And one of the things that I've seen here, and this is fascinating to me, where they say like, so, what are the things that are stopping Biden from stepping aside right now?
Biden is the thing that's stopping Biden from stepping aside.
Which one?
Him.
So here's what I heard.
Oh, I'm sure it was his wife, too, because, like, oh, good job, Joe. You answered all the questions.
That was some shit right there.
You need a cookie? Sorry, man. It's just I find it laughable now.
Yeah, I know.
And so, yes, my mom's getting old, and she's got a lot of family members who are going through this. But my point is, my mom's not fucking president.
Nope.
Nor would she try to be if this
No.
was the case.
No.
So Joe got melty on his own watch, and he is still standing there, and it's his fault.
One of the reasons that I hear is that so my understanding is that Jill Biden hates Kamala Harris. Hates
Jill
her.
is his wife.
Yes,
Who's his sister? Is that Janet?
I think you're right.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I couldn't
All right, I
tell
was
you
just
what-
trying to get him straight. Sorry. That's
But yeah. Evidently, she hates Kamala Harris, and evidently, one of the things that will not happen is she will not allow Kamala Harris to be the first female president ever.
Yeah, so Joe's going to crash the plane in November.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think
Well,
so.
one of them is going to. So
One of them is going to. I mean, it's not going to be like I've seen all this stuff the last couple of days about like, top 5 guys the Democrats could get. And it's like none of these are going to happen. So you guys are insane.
you guys did it to yourselves.
Yeah, you done did this to yourself. And so now you have a situation where if he steps down, there's an obvious successor who is already on his fucking ticket. And you're going to have to convince a whole lot of people about why you need to kick a black woman off the ticket and put a Gavin Newsom on top of it.
Right.
So, and that is not going to happen. So
Right.
it cannot happen. So, like, the Democratic Party's got a lot of fucked up things about it. But I think they'll actually stick to their guns on that one. So, because this is how they've always done it, man. So who's first and who's anointed? It's always been that way.
Dude,
So the only guy who fucked that up was Bernie. So, and he paid for it. So
Well, actually, no. I would say the person that disrupted that was Barack Obama.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Because when it came down to it, and they put it in front of people.
Yeah, you're right.
Because remember, the unofficial, this was not the official slogan of Hillary Clinton in 2016, but the unofficial slogan was, "It's her turn."
Yeah, I
Like,
remember
she
that, yeah.
counted to 50 on the swings and gets to be president.
Sorry, the bell rang.
Because you're like, what do you do? It's, well, I'm not getting off. So what are you going to do? Tell a teacher? It's like, yeah. Like, you still ain't president.
He's still a president, yeah.
Yeah, and when she went up against Barack Obama.
You're right, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
2008.
yeah.
So, but
Baraka fucking, like, chewed her face off, and the people like, I don't want you.
oh yeah, it was so easy to vote for him as opposed to her.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's back when I was still registered, man. So,
Right.
yeah. So, that was an easy one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But then,
And then the Bernie thing threw that up there.
the Bernie thing is the one that I remember because I was still registered at that time.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yeah. And I was like, even though he got his clock cleaned here in Colorado during that primary.
And look, my understanding is that there was a lot of backdoor shenanigans going on.
Well, they have all those. The Democrats, the
superdelegates
superdelegates
and
is kind of weird, but
fucking
that,
stupid.
well, it is, but it also prevents, like, fucking psychopaths, taking over parts of your electorate, so, which the Republicans suffer from in certain states. So,
Yep.
yep. So,
I mean, that is the trick is you go out there and say, like, all right, well, we're just gonna kind of like open this up, and sometimes the psychopath is gonna be the most popular.
right, and sometimes you're going to get a 3-way split ticket and give a Democrat in West Virginia a fucking Senate seat.
But
That happened too.
but he changed his affiliation.
He's out. Yeah. Well, he's an independent.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. Maybe that's because he still wants to run. So, I have no idea. So, who knows? But the same thing's true in, like, Montana. So, in Montana, Republicans they'd beat the pants off any Democrat, but every time the Republicans put up somebody to go against John Tester's seat, they get 4 psychopaths who try and out-psycho each other. And then one of them wins, and then the rest of the state looks at it and says, oh, he's not really that Democrat.
Yeah, you're right. You just look at it and say, like, look, I ask this question frequently. I mean, it's just I apply this to just about anything that's being run by fringe people, and I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it again. Can't any of you fuckers just be normal? And that's the
Stop
thing.
scaring all the girls away.
Yes, exactly. It's the same thing. Like when AOC at her cheerleaderiest is trying to prevent her squad mates from getting drummed.
Oh my god, that dude got drunk. The margin on that was hilarious. So, and that got lost in the news because 2 days later, man, fucking Melty Joe's up there showing us that there's bigger problems in the Democrat Party than that guy. So, you know, trying to do this bullshit where you pull fire alarms and everybody's all over your ass until that happens. Yeah.
But this is the thing, man. I mean, that's the funny shit is like, you guys, look, I get it. I understand that, look, politics is football. You and I both know how this works. All right. You and I both know that it's not, we don't have like a good trade of well, actually we do. It's a little bit closer now, but we used to have it where it's like, man, the fucking AFC won like 8 of these in a row.
Oh, right.
And then the NFC won like 16 in a row.
Yeah, no.
Due to fucking 49er and Cowboy cheating. But
that is more accurate than he's making it. Yeah.
But yeah, so you have that going on there for a while, but now it's sort of like evened out. Now that the free agency era is a little bit more open and you don't have that same kind of like dynasty bullshit you have going on there for a while.
No, this is the last of it that we'll see. I mean, if you look at the whole next bench of people in the Democrat Party, there's nobody. There's nobody whose dad was a fucking president or senator or anything like that. So that one's clean.
Yeah.
The Republicans are a little bit different, but we cleaned all the bushes out 4 years ago.
We did.
So they're done.
we chased them out from underneath the chairs with a broom.
We pulled the fucking fridge out from the wall, to make sure there's no more of them back in there. So they're gone. Now I miss that guy. You know?
In comparison, I understand that. Look, because you're right. Because by the time where it was looking like Jeb Bush was going to be like the next,
I remember talking to you about that in a garage. It's like, this isn't a fucking monarchy, man.
That's correct. Yeah.
So if I'm gonna be pissed if it's Clinton Bush again on this fucking ticket.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we both had. We were mad that we'd sold our country to monarchs, to kings and aristocrats, but yeah, ever since they went in there, like that last nest of bush cockroaches and just
they're gone,
like stomped the shit out of it. It's like, okay,
I think this is the end of the Kennedy cockroaches too.
I believe so.
I think they're done, man. I actually watched a little bit of his debate response. That dude is crazy. I'm sorry, man. He says some good things, but then he says something that's completely batshit crazy after that.
Well, and
it's like, what the really? So,
his problem. Okay, so for everything in there that rings 100% true.
Yes,
right.
And he does nail it sometimes.
He does. There is also one other thing where you say, "Hey, buddy," it's like what? It's like, are you sure that's the truth, or is it something that your mom told you, like, and you didn't Google it?
You're not going to suffocate if you leave a fan on. We got closed, man.
He's that guy. There's some shit out there where he swings. He hits so hard, right? Where he's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember that guy I had on my fantasy league, Adam Dunn, right? Adam Dunn. It's like number of singles 0, number of doubles 0, number of triples 0, home runs 60. That's the thing. Is he?
Yeah.
He
stolen bases, none.
Strikeouts, leading the league.
Yeah, leading the league.
But that's the thing. It's like, but he's also up there with home runs. It's like, this dude's going yard or he's going nowhere.
Yeah,
right.
No, he's very much so like that, man. And I went back and looked at all the polling data because now you're getting really good aggregate polling data. That dude has never been able to tick up or down too far.
No.
There's just a bunch of people who like him or they don't like the other two.
Hey, that's fair. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Dude, that's exactly what Ross Perot was doing back in the day. We've seen it with several other, third-party candidates over the years.
It's not going to move the needle.
No, it's not going to move the needle.
They keep polling in and out, and it seems like the same. If it's 5%, it's 2.5 from this guy, 2.5 from this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
My dog found incredible safety and security
Yeah,
underneath
no,
her
I
feet.
got her, man.
That is a good feeling, isn't it? Yeah.
I think she's sleeping.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's where he is. He's not going to spoil this thing
No.
for anyone.
No, it's Donald Trump's race to lose now. It really is.
He didn't have to talk during that whole debate.
No, in fact, the few zingers that he got in there were more effective than when he was talking. So when he started talking about his golf swing, he's like, "Shut the fuck up, man!" You know. It's,
There was. I was not here for the hyperbole this time around, right? Where it's just these two idiots like going back at each other, like, well, he's the worst president this country's ever had. No, that guy's the worst president this country's ever had. I was like,
Donald Trump was not doing that much. This was not like the last debate.
no,
So cutting off the mic and actually switching between the cameras was like a gift to him.
yeah,
Because he didn't have a crowd either.
Yeah.
And so he's not sitting here responding to all the, the fucking Jerry Springer going on that usually happens in his fucking rallies. And so he actually looked like normal. So except for when he started talking about stupid shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
whereas Joe Biden like jacked up every line, everything. And then, and when Jake Tapper had to cut him off, thank you, Mr. President, he just kind of looked like, oh, what? And it was like, oh, man. And then the camera would stick on him, and he'd just do that thing where he kind of looked around, a little bit, and then he'd go right back to Donald Trump, and he's just slamming questions out of the park,
dude. And I got to tell you,
It was his best debate. It was his best debate. I've seen him in all of his debates. Usually he's an asshole. He was less asshole-ish in this one until he started talking about his golf swing. So, and it was like, oh yeah, there's that chump that we all know. It's like,
there is, and one of the for anybody that there were some people that were talking about this was a setup by CNN against Joe Biden. I'm like, well, no.
He's the guy who came up with the fucking rules. So
no, the only thing that I could say that they didn't have to do that was so damning was they lingered on the shot.
They did.
Where you must be knowing what I'm talking about. They lingered on the shot when it was time to go. And when...
Oh, and he couldn't get off the stage.
And he's just standing there in the middle of the stage, and he's just, like... It's just sad, like, because every time that you get that thing where they lead him off stage, right, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. It really does. And they didn't have to hold on that, but they did.
They did.
They could have cut to anything else.
Dude, they knew what they had by that point in time. I mean, shit, fucking Jake Tapper and even Dana Bash figured it out about 2 minutes into the whole thing. So, and then the camera shots would linger on him. So they started doing more split screen, which was absolutely damaging.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could not do something that was worse. So, because you could tell that Joe Biden wasn't even listening to Donald Trump on half the shit. So,
well,
it was weird. Man.
That's the soundbite of the night too. Is he was like, I don't understand. What it's like, I don't think he does either.
Yeah, no, and that was said with like, it wasn't as mean as he could have said it.
No,
but it wasn't. But you also know it's Donald Trump, and he's saying it on purpose. So because that's what he does.
But he didn't.
So,
but he didn't say it like with one of his normal wind-ups. One of his...
No, he didn't have a wind-up to it.
No.
He just deadpan that one.
The fact that it came out like matter-of-factly was almost... That's the dagger right there. And
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad.
Our Colorado girls switching districts trick paid off too.
It did. I saw that. So it just goes to show,
white trash,
dude. It just goes to show, man, that if you make a name for yourself, and then if it comes down to it, and people like, well, I don't know this guy, so at least this person's famous, Here we
what
go.
An argument, yeah, I know.
What an argument, and so now she's gonna be representing one of the richest districts in Denver, along with the poorest half of the state. So this will be fun.
Yeah.
Gee, Jeff, I wonder where she's going to live. Is she going to live near Cherry Creek in our district? Or is she going to live out in Crowley? I wonder how many Prada shops there are in Crowley.
Well, Patrick, you're right, and I imagine that her neighbors are going to say that a rented double wide actually suits you a lot better. We wish we weren't living next to you, but you're absolutely right. She is going to be living in the good area.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because your district does cover a chunk of, I think it's Douglas County, if I'm not mistaken. So,
but there's
it might be Parker. It might actually be Parker, not Cherry Creek. I don't know.
There's a nice part of Douglas County, isn't there? Like
Fuck yeah, man. That's where all the rich people go. That's where, like, the Broncos live. So, yeah.
But there's a shitty part of it, too, if I recall.
Because
it's big.
It is pretty big, yeah. I don't know. It's been a while.
Where's it? Is it Weld that's not?
Weld is a little bit of everything. Oh,
okay.
Sorry, sweetheart. You want out of there? There you go. Just watch the cord.
I think
we're good.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay, Weld is a little bit more.
Weld is huge, but Weld is like everything east of Fort Collins all the
Yeah.
way up to the border. So, but then it's got like Greeley in it, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, but then yeah, it's got like some shit out east. It's got, you know, the defining feature of the town is the sugar factory. So
Right.
she's got her foot stuck on your monitor cord here.
Well, it's the monitor, not the.
Oh, okay.
Fix this later.
Yeah, so she'll be back in Congress because there's no way that district is going Democrat. It's not possible. So, you know, like, who knows, like, what this actually means for Congress, too, man. So, you know, like, the Senate is looking pretty bad for the Democrats, but I don't think the House is looking that great for the Republicans, even though they still hold it right now.
Well, I think that if I were to make a wager, and that would be kind of insane for me to do because this, you know, political season is a mess anyway.
Oh, we got a whole summer left, man.
Yeah. But if I were to make a wager, I would imagine that we would see there's just sort of like a national like organism. It's rare that somebody like this is going to sweep all of the spots. And I think that the organism will be in play, and they'll maintain one party's going to have this and this, but not this.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to kind of like naturally work out this way. Now, I mean, there are, of course, you know, after this, you know, like you said, well, there's a whole summer to go. There are people talking like, look, this is the first time, like, the numbers are even getting close. They're like, theoretically, New York and New Jersey could flip. I'm like, New Jersey I could buy.
There's no way New York would flip.
And that would be the end of the fucking world. New York.
Having just been on the East Coast, people there do not like Donald Trump.
No, because they grew up with it.
Exactly. They do. There's a visceral response to it. It's like, yes, we all know how to deal with this guy. The rest of y'all are getting chumped by him, you know, because that's like the worst thing that can happen to you if you're from Boston or New York or any of those areas is get suckered. So by somebody, you know, you got
Yeah.
You got got. Yeah. So, you know, so I'm not buying it, but I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to see. So I think, I don't know. I think my guess is that a lot of people are gonna start disengaging. So, you know,
your team is out of the playoffs way early.
Exactly.
Way
early. Yeah.
Like, you're hoping for that one game play-in.
Right.
But you ain't getting it.
Yeah. But you got to win the next 8 straight.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen exactly one time in my life. When that happened, that city basically almost burned itself down. So
hey, that was crazy, dude.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, so your team is not going to the playoffs.
No, they're not.
So there's going to be a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth and talk of moving to Canada, but nobody's going to do it.
They're not.
No, they're not going to do it. You know,
what the Democrats should do at this point is, look, they know where they are.
Yeah.
You need to tank these games to get the best draft pick.
Exactly. Yes.
And I mean that
NFL rules now, man. Yes.
I mean that in the most where you need to be setting up your next, basically like your next superstar, where it's like, hey, it was too late for me right now, but build me up here as a celebrity. I'm gonna be here in 28.
Well, and who knows who can they put up in 28? Well, you know it's gonna be Gavin Newsom. So, seeing him at the debate the other night, man, just smiling like
fucking
with fucking Cheshire cat over there, man. Like, you know, just realize that he just made his fucking presidential run. So, and he'd be insane to take over it right now. He'd be insane. It would wreck his career.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
So no, and same thing. Like, and Kamala Harris won't be able to win in a primary. That's the only way you can get rid of her.
Right.
So if Joe Biden steps down right now, this plane is going down. The question is whether or not he's piloting it or is she. So, but sorry boys, the hydraulics are shot. So we can see the runway, but the wheels ain't coming down, man.
Patrick, I don't know this. So, whenever you watch, we were talking about this a little bit with, what?
It's just like, I have not seen something in such a long time that was such a political catastrophe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the last time. It might have been like Herbert Walker Bush actually raising taxes.
After specifically saying like, making a soundbite out of
"Read my lips." Yeah, no new tax. Yes. Okay, so that's the first humongous fuck up I remember. So,
bro, okay, so you got to remember the level of fuck ups that we've had here, and like that would have been a big one. The other one is Howard Dean made a funny noise, and it.
I remember that. They're going to take Vermont and we're going back to Washington D.C. to take back the White House.
And that was enough to.
Okay, I do remember that one. That was hilarious, man, because it was kind of like, all
he had to do the next day, because that was the same kind of thing, like they had a cold or whatever. They tried to downplay it. All he had to say was, "Hey, man, I was excited. I was turning. I didn't think I sounded like that when I went into the mic."
Oh yeah.
All you had to do was come clean on it, right? Or like lean into it, right? Yeah. But this whole thing of like, they tried to backpedal from it. It's like, no, dude, you do something stupid.
Yeah, say you did something stupid and move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay, so there we go. That's another good one.
I mean, that's the level of like, I can't believe this sunk you.
Hillary Clinton's talking about baskets of deplorables.
That was one.
That was pretty good.
Same with I would argue I'm your abuela was not really a good maneuver.
Oh, yeah, that one was very good either. Yeah. But everybody remembers the basket of deplorables. Be like, wait a minute, you're talking about me.
Right.
Right, because I didn't go to Yale. Got it.
Right.
Right.
And again, I'm talking about the guys that lost. I mean, so there was that statement by Romney where he came out there and said, like, hey, look, 52% of the people out there don't pay taxes, or something like that. I was like,
that was viciously spun, though.
That was different. And it's not.
Yeah, that one wasn't. I didn't think that one was that damning at the time. But it proved to be.
They tried to make it that way. But yeah, it's. But I mean, these are all, in comparison, this is minor shit.
Oh, all of this stuff, except for maybe raising your taxes. So.
And that was
30 years ago. Yeah. So yeah, no, So this debate, out of all, I've watched pretty much every debate. I usually skip the vice presidential ones. So
I could care less.
I've seen quite a few of those too. I even watched Kamala Harris's one with Mike Pence last time. So shit. I doubt that'll happen this time. So now. Well, I guess Donald Trump's got to pick a guy next. So
he says he knows.
Yeah, I heard that too. He said he knows, and that person was going to be at the debate. And so there was like 10 people there. It was like, well, that didn't fucking help, dude. If you only invited two of them,
this is don't break out the board. Don't make me sit there and say like, I'm not going to flip down the cards and be like, does your candidate have sideburns?
click. Yeah. Is he in the study?
I'm trying to play this shit. If you know what you want to do, just say so, man. It's all right. But that's all right. I'll play this game. Does he look like a bitch?
I don't think it actually matters now. I mean, unless he did something really stupid.
Unless he picks Kristi Noem
He's not going to do that.
That would be the one thing that would be unforgivable because you're the dog killer.
You're the dog killer, yeah.
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 So you can't be vice president. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you
Right,
read.
yeah.
I think
Shoot a
anybody
dog and
else
dump its
knows.
body in a quarry. You cannot be vice president. In fact, I don't know if you're going to be governor, Matt, much longer, you know?
Oliver North was like, in my defense, I really didn't like that dog.
Oh my God, dude, the show just writes itself sometimes, man.
This shit happened.
I watched it happen too. So
No, it's just all right. So
he won't pick a woman. He's not gonna.
I thought he would have before.
I thought
But-
if he was, it was probably going to be Kristi Noem, just because she's his type.
Yeah.
So, but she's out now. She's too much. He doesn't need her to get any state. So, but like all the other ones that he's picking from, none of them he needs their state either. He's basically got all of those locked down. Like the dude from South Dakota who looks like Dracula.
Looks like. Bro, there's a list of candidates out there who I think drink blood, and then there's a list of candidates who absolutely would make a jacket out of Dalmatians, and that is
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, no. So that doesn't help him. And I don't even know if he really cares about that. I think he wants someone who's going to be loyal to him more so than anything else now at this point in time. So I think even you can make a case that he could go after like Carrie Lake or something because they help him out in Arizona. She won't really help him out in Arizona. So, but she's not compliant. So, like he wants Mike Pence 2.0. So
no, he doesn't. Because,
well, no, not that guy. But I mean, the
because of
version
how things went last.
the version of him that doesn't do that. So
the one that doesn't fucking Brutus him.
well, and I mean, he didn't Brutus him. He just
Yes, he did.
dude, he can't do anything. What the fuck was he gonna do? He just opened the ceremony, man.
His comments afterwards, and even to this
I
day,
I agree with him on that. I really do. All right, so that's not the place to adjudicate that. The place to adjudicate that is this fucking fall, and that's what we're gonna do.
fine. But if you're in charge,
He wasn't in charge.
no. But that's what I say. If you are Donald Trump,
Oh yeah.
and that is your number one guy, right? Then
What are you doing? Doug just insists on being like.
she wants to be cuddly right now.
okay.
There's fireworks going off
Oh, okay.
outside and stuff, so she's hanging. But
It's
yeah,
okay.
so I would not. Were that me, I would not want him again because of
Well, he already said he wouldn't do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I would look for somebody that, yes, I felt was a little bit more.
He's gonna look for someone who's like 100% loyal.
Yeah.
So yeah. Which knocks out like DeSantis. He's not gonna get it.
No, and he shouldn't. DeSantis has a good thing going on in Florida.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
More and more, like, speaking of like shit from a while back. Look, there was a time when Florida was a disputed state.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not.
So much that they went to the goddamn Supreme Court.
No,
but,
it is not.
But yeah, so he's got that place on lockdown. The people in Florida, he had a mission. He did something that I suggested that the states do, where chase off. So it's kind of like, the few ways to cure lice. So you
Peanut butter.
well, there's two ways to do this. Either you find them individually and you kill them, right? Or you make their environment so uninhabitable
Yeah.
that they leave or die.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so in blue states and red states, the whole goal is to basically take your Republican or Democratic lice and make life to basically double down on your policies
Oh yeah.
that make them want to leave. right?
Yeah, or drop out of the electoral process or whatever.
Yes, yes. And I
Yeah.
think Florida, with,
Or you can just do things that are good and it works, and then people reward your party for that. And so Florida,
what country do you think we live?
fucking Florida's done some of that too, man.
They have. But certain things, like the man, he could have acquiesced against Disney. He did not.
No, he didn't.
He took them to the woodshed, actually, when all said and done.
Yeah.
He beat the brakes off them. And, like, certain things where, Pat, there's no funnier tweet that I've ever seen where the movement there is basically to be able to treat child molestation as a capital crime, right? And
are they doing the castration thing?
there's, I don't think that's
about
them.
that.
I don't think that's
Okay.
it. I think it's another southern state, but I don't think that's them.
Oh, okay.
But the response on that, where it's like, this disproportionately goes after trans members, I'm like,
No, it doesn't.
guys,
Yeah,
no, you don't want to say that.
no.
Even if it's true, you
Yeah.
wouldn't want to say
No.
that.
But it's not. Yeah. So no.
Well, actually, it is.
What?
It turns out that basically, like, percentage-wise, yes.
Most of your pedophiles are not trans.
No, but as a percentage of group, yes, it is.
Yeah. No. I wouldn't be surprised by that. So.
Kind of in the same way. Like, again, this is the weird thing is the percentage of serial killers
Mhm.
are overwhelmingly homosexual.
Yeah. No, I knew that.
But
Yeah.
this is what I'm talking about. This is where they say, like, well, you're targeting this group. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. However,
Yeah, but it's not. That's not the purpose behind the law.
No.
Yeah, the purpose
No.
behind the law is to actually protect children and defer.
Correct.
And deter that kind of crime. So.
so Ron DeSantis's job, he said, I am going to be the stalwart here. I'm going to stay here in Florida. Florida is where the first round of the culture war will be fought, and it will be fought under my name, right? And I don't think that person has business being president now. I think that would be fine in 4 years. But right now, he's got his thing going, and
Yeah, he's doing
let him do
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Right? There are certain things, like, I'm sure you read about the Tractor Supply Company debacle.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay, well, so, and you can probably tell me how this works,
Okay.
right? Tractor Supply, they were basically drinking the Pride Month Kool-Aid, right?
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about that, but basically they had, like, DEI initiatives, like,
Yeah.
all the way through. They were sponsoring and promoting, like, pride parades and all this other stuff, right? And I have a guess about why they were doing that, but I would leave that to you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how the company's built. Is it like Walmart or is it like franchise? I don't know. That would tell me a lot.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, it's one entity. It's
Okay.
not franchise, but either way, my guess would be that for them, they're like, look, in a lot of markets, we have it locked down for, like, feed supply and all this stuff in certain groups that we accept. They're not going to go anywhere else. Okay, your red people, like, this is where we are.
Well,
right?
that's in a lot of communities. It's the only place you get that shit.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So my understanding, if I were to guess, is that they were positioning themselves in a certain way to say, like, if we have these people in the bag, how can we try to get other people, basically expand our market, right? But anyway,
Maybe.
if I were to guess, right? But,
My guess would be that you've got Tractor Supply is a Fortune 500 company,
yeah,
so
they are.
you kind of probably recruit a few guys out of Wharton and Penn and Harvard Business, and they're going to come in there, and some of those are going to be DEI hires. They're not going to have any idea about their customer base because they've never been to a place that has a farm, let alone a Tractor Supply.
Fair enough. All right.
That happens way more often than you think, man.
Well, so anyway, basically they got Budweiser pretty hard. And
well, yeah. I mean, if you're the only shop in town and people are going to drive to the next town over, so where they have what's the one that we have over here? That is Tractor Supply, isn't
no, that's a big Ara.
it? Okay, so they got a big hour.
I think we do have a Tractor Supply company.
I think we do.
I think we
Yeah.
do too. But ultimately what they did was, in response to this, unlike Budweiser, what they did was they basically took their 95 Theses and said, they printed out there, and they sent it to every store, and they said, we were doing this. We will no longer be doing these things.
Great.
Et cetera,
that tells me you had a CEO that looked at what his HR department was doing and saying, knock that fucking shit off right now. So,
evidently that went to every store, and that went out. You can look at it, this is like a full-blown apology letter.
Yeah, sure.
And they're like, all these things are gone.
Yep. That's probably what happened. So, the DEI stuff it's on the way out, man. So it's just like a lot of other things that are, have been kind of exposed as being grifts. That the very people that it's intended to help are the ones who
they're suffering from it.
Well, not that they're just suffering. It's just like it's like the most embarrassing thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's where you're suffering from.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that the programs are actually hurting them,
No.
financially or anything. No. So, but it's more so it's like, oh, okay, great. So I'm the black guy in the office here.
And now,
obviously, now I know that
Yes.
I am the fucking DEI hire.
Yep.
And okay, so now you guys are all just slow rolling me. So, and that's bullshit. That's
what I said.
That's
You're
a
hurting.
shit place to work.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so, I'm blessed, man. I work in a place that's really diverse, and like everybody there is very cool about it because we don't talk about this shit in this realm. Okay, because there's not a lot of people out there who can't say, "Hey, go look at my resume," So,
Right.
but
Right.
if you're the only
Right.
black guy in the office, and your company's pulling shit like this, and then the HR director's going, "How are you feeling, Bob?"
Well,
It's kind of like, what the fuck, man? So,
okay, so this was the thing that went with that Ubisoft game, the Assassin's Creed in Japan, right?
right.
Where with this, there were two things that were hilarious about this. Is when you play as Yasuke, who is the Black Samurai.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay,
And this is a historical character?
he did exist.
Okay.
The extent to which he participated in anything is not well documented.
Yeah, well, very little is. So
Well,
from that
yes.
period, but yeah.
But his is when you play as him, okay, it is Japanese music with a hip hop beat.
Yeah, yeah.
No. Okay,
Yeah.
now, keep in mind, okay, and this is the thing, is okay, so pull up the image, show me the office workers here. What is it? It's a whole ton of white women. And so, again, it's that attitude like you were talking about,
Yeah.
the DEI side of what's they're so if they have if a black person gets in the car, they turn on the hip hop station and say, "This is for you," right?
Right.
And that's the thing is
Oh, right, yeah.
yeah, that's the
Go try that. If you don't know what Jeff and I are talking about, go try that.
I have maybe one story I can tell about that, but that's
Oh, I've been sorted out on that. I got sorted out on that, but good. So,
but yeah, so that's sort of the thing right there, and everybody's tired of it. Everybody is
dude, the people who can't stand it the most are the youngest, my students. They fucking hate it. They hate it.
This upcoming generation right now,
They hate it.
they're turning the election.
Maybe.
No, the numbers don't lie, man.
No, I know, but the thing about that is they pull the young every election cycle, and almost none of them show up.
Well, there
in
is
the
that.
end.
Yes.
So so I remain skeptical on that one. But the DEI thing, so this is your and I generation's fault because we took this shit into the schools 20 years ago.
Mine?
Yeah, it's our fault. It's not your fault, not my fault, but it's our generation went to college, learned about this stuff, and we took that and we put it in the schools, and the kids who are coming up into my classes nowadays, they have been beaten to death with this stuff for all of K-12.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
they did all the holidays. They read all the weird rain dance poems. Okay, so
This is literature, huh?
rather than I don't know, the Federalist Papers. So yeah, Shakespeare. No, of course not. So
Nobody memorized the Gettysburg
Yeah,
Address.
nobody
I can
memorized
promise
the
you that.
Gettysburg Address. surprisingly, a lot of them do know the Pledge of Allegiance, which is good to know.
They know the Pledge of Allegiance, but they were not forced to memorize the preamble to the Constitution.
No, or Gettysburg. I was never forced to memorize. Yeah, I think I got a choice, and I think mine was 7 years ago. Our forefathers brought forth in this world a new nation.
Conceived of
liberty,
dedicated to the proposition that all men
are created. Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
And then there's the part that's like, we got this big-ass war going on.
And it's all bad, everybody's dead.
And y'all got questions, and I got questions. And we're like, is this fucking ship gonna keep floating? It's like, I don't know, but here's what I believe. Right? That's like the second part.
Right.
After
It was the part that Malcolm X did. Right.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah. We okay. Look, you're right. It wasn't you and me doing it, but yes, it was people of our generation that were saying like that changed every Thomas Jefferson school to Malcolm X Shabazz school. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And so now the students hate that. So, because there's no identity. There's no real, like, common identity there. So when you teach everybody that, hey, it's everything that has to do with, like, how you came out of the womb and whose womb you came out of, then by the time you get to college where they're kind of like, well, actually, you know what? There's a lot of people that I went to high school with. They're not here. Okay, and I'm glad they're not here because those people suck.
Those people are insufferable.
They're insufferable, yes. So, and I'm glad I'm now in a place where I deserve to be. And so, the last thing that I want to hear about is affirmative action.
Well, bro, this is where I find the shift fascinating, and it tracks 100%.
Dude, this is totally different than it was like 5-6 years ago, too.
Oh yes,
just putting that to the side.
Oh no, and this right here, this what I'm doing with my hands, this shifting, this big gulf.
Right,
right?
He's just making a Pac-Man with his hands.
I most certainly am. Why? Because the that generation is that the women have gone slightly more left. The boys have gone way the fuck hard right.
Yeah, but and
that's world. I'm not counting like the fucking like snake handling nations, but the civilized nations of the world all over. That's the track.
I'm actually skeptical of that. I've looked into that a little bit. I think if you control by location, it's not really that much. So
perhaps, but then again, take a look at what's happening in France right now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's been threatening to do that for 10 years. So, I mean, ever since that lady took over her dad's like party. So, okay, maybe fine, it's their turn now. So, this isn't some like fucking radical shift from, one side to the other, because Macron was bang, dead set middle. He's not a socialist, bro. So,
no, he's in a lot of ways, you're like, this seems like what a politician should be. It's like,
right.
You're like, okay, well, so...
And he's got like 8 mistresses. So,
France.
Well, I know, but even the French say, oh, that's too much.
So, yeah, but I mean, that's...
Dude, he's been president for like 15 years.
I know.
Yeah, so...
But, I mean, when they say it's too much, it's like, well, the soup's a little too salty. I mean, it's not like they're saying, like, pitch this. No, it's...
Ugh, take it back.
It's not like they're saying, like, there's other spices than oregano, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. So
it's like, do you need everything in this kitchen to taste like a cheap pizza? Is this it?
Right, yeah,
is this
exactly.
it? And you realize to some of this stuff tastes like a dirty dish rag, right? But but there is data that suggests this, and there's how that pans out. All right, we'll see. Right, we'll see. But I mean, there's a lot to be said about basically the way that everything has been divisive. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas, yes, this is where I say, like, you and I, we had teachers that are basically like, hey, go ahead and read Parrot in the Oven and watch this Michael Moore documentary. And we saw that when we were 18 and 20, and we're like, okay, yeah, I'll give this a little bit more consideration, right? Whereas our education growing up was, you will get in trouble if you mention anyone's race. We are all the same.
Yeah,
right?
I remember that. Yeah,
that was our colorblind society.
Well, and our great contribution to that was like switching from Indian to Native American. So
Yes,
I remember
yes.
that. Yeah.
And there were people who were holdouts on that, but I was like, because there was just like, oh, is this what PC is? Oh, okay.
Dude, that goes back to Rush fucking Limbaugh. That's been
know,
around for
I
30
know,
years, man.
I know. But so we had that thing where it's like it's a colorblind society. Men and women treat them the same, right? And then it was then we got to that part they said, but you do realize that people do have differences based off of the areas they grow up in. We're like, okay, well, let me think about this. And then we get into education. You say, what's that? You say, like, well, what you need to do is give me a plan on how you plan to meet the achievement gap. It's like,
right. Yeah.
What's the achievement gap?
Yeah.
Say, well, we tell them they're all the same, but then break them down into demographics, and you tell me how you're going to get this group to raise up to this group.
There is not a single concept in all of education that's been as thoroughly fucking debunked as that has now.
It's total bullshit.
It's total bullshit. The only thing you have to do is actually control by zip code, and that explains all of the fucking... I am dead fucking serious, man.
I know you are. I know you are.
This is kind of my wheelhouse, man. So, like, I can tell you which data sets to go pull. I'll even give you the code to put in Stata. So I'll help you read the chart. So, and I can tell you right off the bat that if you reduce that data down to zip code, or even just like MSA, Metropolitan Statistical Area, the achievement gap fucking disappears. So it has nothing to do with it. So
yeah, buddy. So I mean,
you can make an argument that okay, so why are there so many black people living in South Chicago? Okay, that's something that we should talk about. Okay, that's legit.
Yes.
Okay, but you cannot tell me that the education system, all right, is based is this discriminatory institution that has an intentional desire to actually send black kids to prison. So
you were talking about that school to prison pipeline?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you cannot. Yeah,
I've seen the blueprints for that.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's got teeth and wheels.
I built one in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Like a bone stripper.
Yeah, it goes straight from one to the other. They're like all these woolly dupes, and yeah, it's awesome.
Right, yeah.
It's awesome.
There's a big long line. There's no bathrooms.
there's no places to get an ID. Yeah, it just goes straight.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
This guy's been in line for 9 months.
It's so fucking dumb. Yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And we can close out with this thought here. Yeah, the intent of it,
right,
being deliberate is so fucking stupid. And you're right, because I think you were the one who said it. Like, weren't you the one that said, like, all right, so if I take this group right here and I choose a income commensurate group, like straight from Appalachia, right?
Yeah.
The results will be the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Income is not quite as good of a predictor as geographic location, but race is the worst one, man. So, because I can take a look at someone who's black and who's from anywhere in the Caribbean or Nigeria and put them in an American school, and they're going to ace everything.
Right.
So,
Right.
And then the same thing's true, like, with... I mean, you can even do this with the Chinese in some respects, and say, I know, like, okay, it's like you have Asian American group, and it's like, well, actually, there's like 9 different ones, but whatever.
Right.
So
don't call me Filipino.
Don't call me Filipino. Yeah, your name doesn't end in O. So
right.
Yeah. But still, at the same point in time, it's like, okay, so I can take a kid from South Korea, and or someone who had South Korean parents, and I can take someone who's from rural China. Okay, and the South Korean kid's going to kick the fuck out of this guy. In fact,
right.
If you have an Asian American kid who grew up in America, he's going to kick the fuck out of that kid. And so
yes.
Race is not a predictor here. So it is not a predictor in any of these things. It's where you grew up. So that's just you, because it goes against the whole idea of meritocracy and you can rise to the top. It's like, not if you grew up in fucking Appalachia. So, I mean, you can, All right, but you got to have people around you telling you that you can do that. And if they all say, "Oh no, you know, you're gonna stay around here and take care of Mama June later on," you know, guess what? You're probably gonna wind up doing.
But they're in. I mean, that's. I promise I'll end this, but that's the thing is the problem is that we've defined that as a failure situation. When you say like rise to the top, right? If your area is like, hey, taking care of your mother, right?
Yeah.
Is a victory condition.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas, yeah, if you look in that society and say like, okay, then you've won, right? Then you've done well, but we don't define that as victory.
No, and
You and I don't.
I wouldn't either. You know, especially if you're doing so off welfare. So you know, yeah, okay, yeah. We're gonna put the lid back on this one.
I'm sorry.
So,
but for another time. No, this is interesting stuff. Yeah, but you're absolutely right.
Okay, can's back in the cabinet.
Okay,
I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
I'm hitting the button.
Okay.